Welcome to this candidates forum for those individuals seeking the office of mayor for the city of Helena. I'm Doug Adair, Executive Director of the Alabama Wildlife Center and the Chair of the Shelby County Chamber's Governmental Affairs Work Group. On behalf of our chamber, we're pleased to co-host this program with Shelby County Newspapers, Inc. We hope you find this program both interesting and informative, and we're pleased you could be with us. Before we begin, let me express our thanks to each of the candidates, in alphabetical order, Brian Puckett and Scott Summerlin, for joining us for this virtual forum. Gentlemen, your willingness to put yourselves before the voters of the city of Helena is a true testament to your desire to serve and to lead your community. Now let me explain the format for this virtual forum. Each candidate will be asked the same question and given 2 minutes to respond. The sequence for answering questions will rotate alphabetically. Neither of the candidates have been provided with the questions prior to this event. The candidates will respond to these questions in this alphabetical sequence, with each candidate alternating responding to the question first. The rotation sequence will continue in this fashion through the end of the question and answer portion of the forum. In the interest of time, there will be no opening statements. There will, however, be the opportunity for each candidate to provide a closing statement. These closing statements should be no longer than 3 minutes. Jordan Powell, Director of Investor Development with the Chamber, will act as timekeeper and provide each of the candidates with a countdown during their answer and comments by holding up a card indicating the time remaining. Kirk Manser, President and CEO with the Shelby County Chamber, will be posing questions to the candidates. Now let's begin with our first question.
For our first question, we'll start with Mr. Puckett. Mr. Puckett, why do you want to be mayor for the city of Helena?
That's a great question. So first and foremost, my passion in my heart is Helena. I've been there for about 15 years now, and I've done everything I can to give back and volunteer in the community. So if you've gone down and seen people pulling weeds for the beautification board, I was one of them. If you've gone to a city council meeting, I've been sitting in that city council chair. So I do everything I can to give back to the community because ultimately that's where my heart is. I feel that I've been called to serve the community, so I'm doing everything I can to not only serve, but give back as much as I possibly can. And this is just another avenue for me to be able to lead our city, not only today, but affect it 20 years from now.
Thank you. Mr. Summerlin, same question to you. Why do you want to be mayor for the city of Helena?
Well, my whole adult life has been spent in the public service realm. For 25 years, I was a police officer, served 20 years in the city of Vestavia Hills. I served 5 years for the city of Midfield, retired in November of 2019. Being out of public service after doing it my whole career, I felt I wanted to get back into public service and serve my community and do what I can to help my city move forward.
Thank you. Now we'll have our second question. We'll start with Mr. Summerlin. Mr. Summerlin, what, in your opinion, are the priorities and responsibilities of the city of Helena's mayor?
Well, first, the mayor has to provide public safety for the community. I think that's job one. Having a law enforcement background, I think gives me an inside edge to providing that. Also supporting our firefighters and and supporting our public schools. We've got to support our schools and do what we can to keep them moving forward and keep Helena an attractive city that people want to move to. And also, supporting our local businesses. We've got a lot of great local businesses, and I think we can do a little bit more to promote those and drive some more customers to them.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Puckett, same question to you. What, in your opinion, are the priorities and responsibility of the city of Helena's mayor?
So, as the mayor, most people don't know that our government changed a few years back where it's now a council-led government. So your mayor's main responsibility is running the day-to-day operations of the city and then making sure that we're tracking towards our budget in the correct way. So the mayor should be out there managing those day-to-day operations, but really that should be the biggest advocate for our city. So whether it be going out and attracting new businesses, whether it is showing up to Little League games, whatever the case may be, it's the face of the city. But on the day-to-day operations, it's just making sure that we're giving all of our associates at the city the best resources and tools that they need in order to do their job the best way possible so that all of the citizens of Helena can benefit from it.
Now for our third question, we'll start again with Mr. Puckett. When prospective new or growing businesses evaluate new locations, they often seek out incentives or assistance from the city. What is your stance on incentivizing business to grow, and what assistance programs do you feel should be in place?
Absolutely, great question. Helena has a history or a track record of not doing those incentives. So we do now have on the books, that's currently in development, the 261-17 corridor in Helena, which is where several fast food restaurants are coming, some other small businesses will be there as well. And in partnership with them, in the developer, we did offer tax abatements for them. We did give them incentives to be able to come, because at the end of the day, all the cities around us are doing tax incentives or benefits for these developers to come there. Helena has to make sure that we're staying in line with our peer cities, but also making sure that we're doing the best for our residents. So when you get down to the brass tacks of it, if you're doing the math, making sure that the city will benefit in a fairly rapid rate over a few year period of time to be able to recoup that cost that they've been able to incentivize those businesses. But I think that in the way of doing business in today's society is we have to do that in order to get the best options and opportunities for Helena.
Thank you. Mr. Summerlin, same question to you. When prospective new or growing businesses evaluate new locations, they often seek out incentives or assistance from the city. What is your stance on incentivizing businesses to grow, and what assistance programs do you feel should be in place?
Well, the main thing is providing them an attractive place to put their business. The city of Helena's got a lot of great people that support local business, and one of the advantages of coming to Helena is you will get that local support. Yes, sometimes you have to offer a tax incentive a little bit to get them to make the commitment to move to the city, which I'm not opposed to doing as long as it's not an indefinite situation where the city operates obviously on a tax base, and we need all the help we can get in that area from business and property taxes as well.
So for our fourth question, we'll start again with Mr. Summerlin. Where do you see the city of Helena in 4 years?
I see the unlimited potential for the city. If we can keep expanding our business base and our public service, the sky's the limit. The city will go as far as the citizens want it to go. What I aim to do is aid in that as much as possible, to promote it, to promote the growth, responsible growth, and just keep the city moving forward to the next level.
Thank you. Mr. Puckett, same question to you. Where do you see the city of Helena in 4 years?
In 4 years, well, let me back up and answer that in a little roundabout way. So over the past couple of years, you've seen the geographical area of Helena change as far as you started to see more commercial coming in, you've seen more businesses start to come in. So the residential development is always there, but we're starting to see an increase of those commercial type industries coming in. So my vision for Helena on the commercial side is to see Helena grow more and plan better with being able to have pockets or segments of the cities that are focused to different commercial type areas. Example of that would be the Old Town area would be like that destination district or that entertainment district. So people will want to go there rather than go into Hoover or go into downtown to have that night out. Then you've got the 261-17 corridor that I mentioned in an earlier question. That's more like your food type of destination. So that's where you get your fast food restaurants, your grocery stores, so forth like that. And then we would see other developments come and cover up other areas of the city. A great example with that would be maybe looking at an industrial type area on the other side of the Cahaba River. We have a lot of unused land out there. It could be a great opportunity to bring other types of segments of commercial into the Helena.
With our fifth question, Mr. Puckett, we'll start with you. If you're elected, what specific skills or strengths do you possess which you believe will benefit the city of Helena?
Great question. So that's what separates me from anybody that has ever run for this office in Helena. So I am a true outsider for Helena, meaning that I've never worked for the city and I don't have any relationship with the city as far as family members or anything like that working. So I am that outsider. I'm a business guy. So I currently work as a top leader in one of the top banks, Fortune 500 banks in the country. So being over a program of e-signature, I'm able to manage budgets that are more than what the city has in their budget, teams, projects, so forth like that. So I bring that business aspect, that leadership mentality of let's not always do it the way we've done it. So let's start thinking of new ways to do it. Let's start thinking about the future. So any type of decision, and this is my corporate mentality that flips in, is that anytime I look to try to make a decision, I look to see how not only is it going to affect us today, but how is it going to affect us 20 years from now. Because we have kids in the community. I've got 5 kids that from 11 to 6. They're going to be in Helena for a long time. I want to make sure that in these 4 years that we're making the right decisions that they'll be able to also be able to benefit from without headache 20 years from now.
Thank you. And Mr. Summerlin, same question to you. If you're elected, what specific skills or strengths do you possess which you believe will benefit the city of Helena?
Well, first and foremost, my background in public safety will enable me to work with the police and fire to keep the city of Helena as safe as it can be. My willingness to listen to the community. I want to get input from the community about what they want for their city. I'm not going to come in with a list of ideas that I'm going to try to ram through no matter the cost. Value council's opinion, community's opinion, and then we all work together to decide where we want to take the city.
Thank you. Now for question 6, again, Mr. Summerlin, we'll start with you. How would you describe Helena when asked by someone wanting to start a business in the city?
Well, there's unlimited potential for opening businesses in the city. Our population is steadily increasing. We have more and more people moving into the city. We have a willingness to shop local and support those businesses. And I want to set up a system that promotes our businesses and gets the word out there that people need to come to Helena and do their shopping.
Thank you. And Mr. Puckett, same question. How would you describe Helena when asked by someone wanting to start a business in the city?
It is a great community that has tons of support. So the great thing about Helena is the community aspect, and that's more of a culture than anything else. But anytime a new business is starting up, the community rallies around that business. So we've got to make sure that we always are promoting that type of atmosphere, not only for the businesses coming in, but for the new residents that are coming in. Because anybody that comes in, we want them to buy in and believe in that culture of community. So a business, when they're starting out, they know that the community is going to take care of them.
Thank you. Now for question 7, Mr. Puckett, we'll begin with you. In your opinion, what are Helena's biggest strengths, and how do you as mayor plan to take full advantage of those strengths?
So the biggest strengths that Helena has is a couple of different things. First, we have that community feel. So we've never really had the bigger commercial type of industry or big box stores or anything along those lines in Helena. So we've always kept that small town feel. So I think that we can use that to our advantage within the city in order to attract some bigger box type items down the road, because what that'll do is allow our community our citizens to not have to go to a neighboring city to buy that. So we're leaving that tax revenue in Helena, because we are blessed with people that live in Helena, that actually support Helena, and they strive to support Helena. So our biggest goal is to make sure that we keep those people inside the city limits when they're spending their dollars. So with the pandemic that started back in March, we saw drastic increase in the amount of money that people were spending in Helena because they weren't having to go outside of Helena to work or to school or anything like that. They were staying in town. So we want to be able to capitalize on, now that that is becoming a trend, how can we progress on that and how can we build on that?
Thank you. Mr. Summerlin, same question. In your opinion, what are Helena's biggest strengths, and how do you as mayor plan to take full advantage of those strengths?
The biggest strength of the city of Helena to me is the sense of community. When you come to Helena, you feel like you're home. It's a hometown. It has that hometown feel. The people love living there, and that's what we want to promote and continue to grow and see foster into the future.
Why should the citizens of Helena elect you mayor?
Well, first thing I want to tell everyone is that I am not a politician. I don't have polished answers to a lot of questions. I answer questions from my heart and tell you what I'm thinking, and I have a heart for public service and to serve the community of Helena. And I can't stand here and tell you that I am the best candidate. That's for the voters to decide. But what I can tell you is that I will work as hard as I can to move the city of Helena forward.
Mr. Puckett, why should the citizens of Helena elect you mayor?
Because of my heart and passion and my experience. So I am the candidate that has the experience in business, in leadership, in managing people, managing projects, but also being in the community. So I go back to the very first question, and I believe it was that you asked, that what makes you love Helena or something along those lines. It was that volunteer work. I am the candidate that has for years been getting their hands dirty in our community and being shoulder to shoulder. Any good leader should always be shoulder to shoulder with all of its people.
Thank you. That concludes the question and answer portion of our forum. Now we'll move into the closing comments, and we'll begin with Mr. Summerlin. Mr. Summerlin?
The final thing I would say is that I have been a Helena resident for 20 years. My kids were raised in this community. My grandson is being raised in this community. So I want nothing but the best for this community. I want to work with the city council and the community to take in ideas of what they want to do for the city, and we all work together as one group to better the city. I don't have a personal agenda to get things done and just say that it was my idea. I'll give credit where credit is due. We all need to work together and make this city better.
Thank you. And now, closing statement for Mr. Puckett. Mr. Puckett?
To the residents of Helena, I am the candidate that has the experience in leadership, business, and in the community. I am that trusted advisor for you. I ask for your support and your vote on August 25th to be able to lead Helena into the future. We not only have to think about how the decisions we make today will affect us today, but also how it will affect us down the road. We have a long way to go to make sure that all of our concerns are addressed. But it is my leadership that will get us there to where we want to be at the end of the day. Again, I ask you for your support and your vote on August 25th. And for more information about me, please check out my website at puckettforhelena.com.
That concludes our candidate forum. Thanks again to both Brian Puckett and Scott Summerlin for joining us and for your willingness to share your vision for the city of Helena. Thanks also to our collaborative partners at Shelby County Newspapers, Inc. Finally, and most importantly, thanks to each of you for taking the time to view this video. We hope you found this program informative, and we encourage each of you to participate in the election on Tuesday, August 25th. We are adjourned.